Dell's with us. He's going to be in the background. What up, Bobby? What up? Who's that? Wendy, what's going on? Hey, Dalton, appreciate you guys sticking with us and watching us. And we're going to go ahead and keep this thing moving. And we want to talk about, look, like we talked about, Dave, you talked about some of your matchups. You're on that, 2 or 3 game losing streak because of Bye-Mageddon, because this is the point where you having not only bye weeks, but you are having injuries. I mean, I guarantee you a lot of guys that might have been doing great this week are scrambling. And Bobby, you talked about it. Derrick Henry going down. I guarantee I'm one of those people. In one of my leagues, I was very dependent on him. Everybody else in the lineup is movable. He's not. Even if he's on bye week, I'd still trust him more. Like, he's just that guy. He's amazing. So him being out is really going to get a lot of people kind of like, oh, my God, what do I do? What do I do? So we're going to be here, try to help you out a little bit with a little waiver wire help. We're going to talk to you a little bit about that. But before we do, Dave, I'm coming to you. How did we do last week with some of the things we were talking about with the waiver wire?
All right. So Sid and I both gave you Danny Dimes. We're going to call this one a push. 16.08. It is not what we were hoping for with a highly capable rushing quarterback against that Chiefs defense. I wanted rushing yards. I wanted rushing touchdowns. We didn't get it. 16 is serviceable, but we're going to call that one a push. Sid urged you to look into Gainwell over in Philly, and that did not work out so well. If you decided to go the Boston Scott route or the Jordan Howard route, that ended up working out much better for you. I will caution you. I'm selling on all of those guys, though. Sid whiffed on one out of 3 running backs, but yeah, I don't see that being a consistent thing. Sid also gave you Cobb and Valdez-Scantling over in Green Bay. Obviously, with Devontae Adams out, Green Bay pass catchers were kind of a question mark. We weren't sure who was going to get it done. Cobb definitely got it done with 16.5, Scantling with 9. So definitely a good call there on Cobb. However, Sid also gave us Dante Pettis, and that was a big 0. I'm also gonna call this next one a push for Sid because for tight ends, Robert Tonyan, he gave you 7.9 points. It looked like Aaron Rodgers was going to be pushing that ball, and if you picked him up, you got 9 points and a tight end on the IR now. So that didn't work out too well. I also gave you guys Tua and Wentz. Both of those quarterbacks were waiver picks based on their schedule over the next 4 to 5 weeks. Wentz was not a pick for this week. He did put up 18. Tua, I liked this week, and he put up – Tua was going against Buffalo this week. So he put up 15. They both have very favorable schedules going forward, so we'll see how that works out.
Nice. So, Sid, what do you got this week, man? I'll start with you.
So I got a lot more than I did last week. So some injuries caused for a lot of openings. So we got a lot here. So start for the quarterback. Now, either of these, I don't think I would start either of these this week, mainly because of who they are and their matchups. But so quarterback, I got Taysom Hill. James going down. He should be the guy over Trevor Siemian, but he is hurt. So I'm not sure he's going to be getting just yet. When he comes back, I'm sure he'll be the guy. So his rushing attempts is going to make him a fantasy viable quarterback, I believe, going forward. The other one, Justin Fields, after his day. As long as Nagy doesn't – Nagy was out, so obviously they let him run a little bit, and Fields looked great. I wouldn't start Fields this week, though, because the Steelers shut down running quarterbacks. Look at Lamar Jackson's stats against the Steelers. The Steelers are the only team that shut him down. So I think they do the same to Justin Fields because him and Lamar are similar quarterbacks. But going forward, if Fields is allowed to run, he should be that Jalen Hurts type. You could start him because of his rushing. For running backs, I got a long list. I didn't really put them in order, but I think they're all guys that you can look at and should be hopefully serviceable. No, I don't think any of them are home run hitters just yet, but they could be going forward. The clear and obvious one with Derrick Henry going back down, his backup Jeremy Mcnichols, and then the freshly signed Adrian Peterson. Obviously, those are going to be the guys going forward. I don't think Adrian Peterson will be anything this week, obviously just getting there. But next week, I bet you Adrian Peterson, I would think Adrian Peterson is going to be the guy over Mcnichols just because they've had Mcnichols there this whole time and he never gets the ball, so I don't trust him yet.
Right.
But definitely worth a pickup to see how he does this week. Next is Carlos Hyde with James Robinson going out. Hyde isn't as talented as Robinson, so I wouldn't expect him to produce as much as Robinson has, but he should be able to get the goal line carries if they can get down in that area because the Jags aren't the best. But a starting running, we've talked about it before, starting running back in the NFL is somebody that you should have on your roster, so Carlos Hyde should be that guy if James Robinson were to miss any time. Another one is Derek Gore for the Kansas City Chiefs. Anybody that watched that game yesterday, it looked like he was splitting time with Darrell Williams. So at this point, if he's going to split time, get 50-50 chances, he looked good running the ball. I have Darrell Williams in 4 leagues, so I understand David's frustration with him not getting all the touches. But Derek Gore looked good. So if they're going to split that, he's definitely somebody that should be picked up in fantasy. And the last one is Mark Ingram. Now that he's back in the Saints, especially with Jameis going down, they're going to lean heavy on the run game. Yes. And Mark Ingram knows that offense. He's been there, so they know how to split carries. And when he was there last time, he was very serviceable as a fantasy running back. So a lot more than last week. I can't guarantee they all hit, but I do like that group of guys. At least there's some options for you if looking on the waiver wire. Next to receivers, I have Jameson Crowder. If Magic Mike White Lightning over there in the Jets can keep swinging it. Jameson Crowder, he had like 11 targets, I think, so that's absolutely what you want from a receiver. Oh, yeah. If he's going to get thrown the ball that many times, you want him on your team. I've avoided anybody on the Jets not named Corey Davis so far, but I think Crowder's the guy going forward, especially because Davis has been hurt. Next one up, Devonta Parker in Miami. He's looked like Tua's favorite target this last week because he's been injured for 3 weeks, so he hasn't played. But last week, he kept looking for Devonta Parker, and Parker's got talent. He's been in the league for a long time, so I don't mind picking him up. Another one is Van Jefferson for the Rams. With the Deshaun Jackson being let go, I think Van Jefferson's role is going to be stepped up a little bit. Obviously, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are the guys there, but there's plenty of ball to go around in that offense. So I think Van Jefferson is viable to pick up going forward. Another one, I know Cobb had a good week this week, but I'm going to give it to you again because he is Aaron Rodgers. Behind Devontae Adams, Cobb is Rodgers' favorite target. Hands down, especially with Robert Tonyan going down. Cobb's going to become that possession guy, and I like him a lot going forward. And then the last one I got with the recent news of Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards for the Raiders. Okay. Keep an eye on him because if Ruggs misses any time with this or it doesn't play anymore, he's going to be the next guy up. That offense passes a lot, so I can see an increase in his target share going forward. As for tight ends, we're going to give you a Mercedes Lewis. He's the other tight end in Green Bay. I can't see him doing a whole ton because he's a little bit older, but he is going to be a guy that Rodgers is going to look to in the end zone. So I like him if you need somebody going forward. I have on my list Foster Moreau still in case because Darren Waller was hurt. They're coming off of a bye week, so hopefully he's better. But if he's not, Foster Moreau should be picked up and would be a viable starter if Waller misses time. And then I have to shout out my guy because I've been screaming his name for weeks.
Yes.
And he showed up more than once, but he got the game-winning touchdown. And it was an amazing catch on top of that. Yep. Pat Freiermuth, if he's out there, go get him. I've been telling you guys, he's the real deal. He has arrived. And then I love it. Lastly, we haven't done drops in a couple weeks, but I do have a couple drops for you.
Yeah.
OBJ, no longer needs to be on the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to have him. If you got him, let him go.
Yeah.
I also think Robbie Anderson has joined that group.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think he's had maybe one game over 10 points this year.
Right.
Time to give up.
I don't think he ever got off that list.
People started him. That's why I had to add him to the list.
Right.
So I'm like, go somewhere else. I promise there's better options.
Yo, also real quick, I just got an update on my phone. Broncos tight end Noah Fant was placed on the reserve COVID-19 list. So,
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Now we're going to need somebody in Denver.
Yeah, I don't think that upgrades any tight ends there because they're not going to be as talented as Fant, but I do think that upgrades Tim Patrick. We've talked about Tim Patrick all the time on this show. I think he gets a boost this week because of that. Just this week, not going forward. I think Jerry Jeudy might come back. If he didn't come back
he played last game.
Okay,
he didn't do much though.
But he's going to get more healthy going forward. Obviously, that was his first game back. But I think Tim Patrick gets the boost because of Fant missing, not another tight end.
Yep. Absolutely. Dave, what you got, man?
My quarterbacks, Justin Fields. I drafted him in both leagues and dropped him. But he, with young quarterbacks like this, I that's the kind of game that can solidify their confidence. And really the standout to me in that game was the 10 rushes for 103 yards and a touchdown. He put up 30.3. His passing yards weren't that impressive, 175 with a touchdown. But his schedule going forward, he's got Pittsburgh and then the bye, Baltimore, and then Detroit. His playoff schedule is going to be Minnesota, Seattle, and the Giants. I think if he's out there, stash him, get him. He may not be your starting quarterback each week, but he could be a season saver as we come down the wire. I am not completely sold on the great white Matt Hyde.
Hey, I didn't say it. It wasn't on my list.
You can't argue with the 400 yards with 3 touchdowns. He did, and 2 interceptions. But from what I saw, he checks the ball down a lot. He was not chasing big plays the way Zach Wilson tends to do. And I think that let's see, going forward, he's got Indy, Buffalo, Miami, and Houston. Over the next 4 weeks, he's got a rough go. I mean, I don't see him putting up numbers like that again. However, I think the impact he possibly could have on his pass catchers, notably his running backs, which is where I'm going after this, could boost the productivity of some of his pass catchers. Derek Gore, I was definitely disappointed to see what I saw last night, and it's not just about the split carries or the touchdown. It's the fact that watching the two of them was like watching Zeke and Pollard earlier this year. Gore he was more explosive. He looked hungrier. He looked like a more dynamic player. And it made me very nervous because obviously I had Darrell Williams in the game, who got his touches, he got his carries, but I'm definitely looking at Derek Gore. Adrian Peterson and Jeremy Mcnichols. What I found very interesting about Mcnichols, he has not had more than 2 carries in a game all year. However, he has been targeted in every game except for 1. What I really love about these targets, I'm going to list them off week by week for you. Week 1, 3 catches on 4 targets. Week 2, 3 of 3. Then 1 of 2, 8 of 12, 2 of 2. He put up a 0 against Buffalo, and then 1 and 1 and 3 and 3. He catches the ball when they throw it to him.
Right.
With Derrick Henry out, I mean, I can see them utilizing him in the passing game a lot more, and that's very intriguing to me. So we'll see going forward there. I love Adrian Peterson. You just cannot count that man out. I will root for him every time he suits up. So good to see him back. Ty, obviously Michael Carter's balling out, but Ty Johnson, 6 for 7, 65 yards, 13.1 points 2 weeks ago. 5 of 6 for 71 yards and a touchdown for 19.6. He's very involved in the passing game. And like we just talked about with Matt White's going to be facing some solid defenses, and I think he's going to be checking the ball down a lot. So I think both those running backs could be seeing a lot of action in the passing game. Ty Johnson owned in 5.3% of leagues, so should be an easy pickup there if you need somebody. Wide receivers, Van Jefferson was definitely my top, 8.5% owned with Deshaun Jackson leaving, like Sid said. Plenty of ball to go around over there. My tight end this week, though, was Dan Arnold. He had a season high in receptions, targets, and yards. It was 8 for 10 for 68 yards. But with Robinson out, it's just it's more opportunities for everybody who is there. So, season high across the board stat-wise, definitely worth a look and to see if he continues to produce off of that.
Oh, I like that.
That's what I got for you.
I like that. Yo, that was definitely good. I definitely echo both of your sentiments. I had my notebook out, writing stuff down, and the comeback begins now. Let's go. I will take your own words and use them against you. Let's go. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we have to move on. And before we do, we want to move on to the fans'